The Aggies have added yet another wide receiver in the transfer portal, making this one of the most loaded wide receiver rooms in all of college football. What does this mean for the Aggies offense in 2025? We will talk about it next. If you like what we are doing here at Campus to Canton, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We have just reached 4,000 subs thanks to you guys, and now we are trying to get to 5,000 by the start of the college football season. We appreciate all the love and support that you guys have given us in helping us spread the good word of college fantasy football all around the world. Kevin Concepcion, or KC Concepcion, however you want to put it, is now going to Texas A&M, who has already added a couple wide receivers out of the portal, 1- and 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson from Texas Tech, and also Mario Craver from Mississippi State. So they've already added two very intriguing weapons in the portal, and now are adding Kevin Concepcion to make this a very loaded room, as they already have Terry Bussey on the roster, who was an incredible player for them last year as a true freshman. Kevin Concepcion stands in at 5'11", 180 pounds, and was a 3-star sensation for NC State as a true freshman, specifically in that Robert and I offense, who we've seen has been very good at times, specifically getting quarterbacks, rushing quarterbacks, a lot of production, and then, of course, obviously turning some wide receivers into stars. Over the past 2 years, from what I've seen, Concepcion operates primarily out of the slot, which is good because Mario Craver, Terry Bussey, and Micah Hudson all operate on the outside. So now Concepcion can come in here and be the slot wide receiver for this Aggies offense. And it makes sense. 66% of his targets have come from under 10 yards. And in fact, most of the time at NC State, it seems like the offense has kind of been schemed to get him the ball. But he does do a very good job after the catch. Like, he'll get the ball, he'll make a lot of moves. I do think that he does a very good job of when they manufacture him getting the ball in space, of him doing a really good job to create that separation from defenders and trying to get those first downs. My biggest issue with him is I don't see much of a route runner from Kevin Concepcion. He really struggles when he's just put into certain routes to kind of create that separation within the route, whether that is within the route or at the catch point. But again, when they manufacture those touches for him, he does a really good job. But I do think him coming into this Texas A&M offense is a great thing for the room. The big thing is going to be what happens at quarterback, right? Like, Marcel Reed is a dynamic rushing threat and a very fun quarterback, but he's not quite an accomplished passer. And I do think that the true freshman they have on their roster right now, Miles O'Neal, could be that. But will Klein, will Elko be willing to switch to him in the spring and fall, or will they bring somebody else in, right? There's still chance. There's still names that could enter the portal here with it coming to a close in the next couple of days that could possibly join the Aggies. But I think if it comes down to Reed and Miles O'Neal, I would like to see Miles O'Neal get that chance. I just think he's a much more accomplished passer, and I think he will amplify the strengths of what is now this wide receiver room in having Micah Hudson, Mario Craver, Terry Bussey, and now Kevin Concepcion. I actually think it probably in the order to be Micah Hudson, Bussey, Craver, Concepcion, and Concepcion might even jump Cravers. Craver will likely be the bench guy. I think likely the two starting positions will go to Micah Hudson and Bussey, with Concepcion being in the slot. I think that's a very strong top three. And again, if you have a quarterback who can pass the ball, this offense could be really scary. I really believe in Klein as an offensive playmaker. He's our offensive coordinator. He's done a really good job at kind of tailoring offenses to certain players. I mean, look at Will Howard, got the best out of him rushing and passing the ball. And Miles O'Neal's not a negative on the ground, but he's also not Will Howard or Marcel Reed. I think overall, though, Kevin Concepcion coming here and being the 3 is going to be very good for him. And we have him in our system as like a .336 athlete, which is not great. But I think he shows better than that on film, and when on the field, he kind of blows that out of the water. We do have him with the 21.2 mile per hour, which is in the 65th percentile. He comps very favorably to Calvin Ridley. Again, I think you can get that out of him, but he's got to be the third target, and I think he will be. The biggest thing for his fantasy upside and probably future NFL stock is, again, can they get a quarterback to throw him the ball? Because the other thing is Klein and even Elko at times have not necessarily had that like dynamic passing attack quarterback. It's been kind of like a dual threat who struggles more passing the ball. And because of that, their offenses haven't exactly thrived in getting the wide receivers the ball. Typically, those average anywhere from the 13 to the highest was 18 points a game for their number one wide receiver. And the rest of them have been like single digits. So like, you're only going to get one fantasy viable wide receiver. My guess is it's going to be Hudson or Bussey. But in those offenses, they do have a fairly good pass success rate, but they do tend to run the ball more in those neutral situations. But again, will that change if like a Miles O'Neal takes over at quarterback? We'll see. I think Texas A&M is one of the most intriguing teams in the offseason of 2024 heading into 2025. I thought they had a really good season this past year. Just Wigman clearly wasn't it. He's gone out the door. Will it be Reed? Will it be Miles O'Neal? Whoever that quarterback ends up being, I think will determine the success that the Aggies have in 2025 because they have a very good wide receiver room. And right now, if I'm being honest, if Owens can come back healthy at running back, who I think is really good, could have just a very dynamic offense altogether. So adding Concepcion makes this offense even better. It's going to be really intriguing to see how he fits into the offense overall. But what do you guys think about Kevin Concepcion landing with the Aggies? Let me know in the comments down below. Can the Aggies make the playoffs in 2025? I think that they can. Talk to you guys again soon.